Hello everybody, my name is Robert Slutenko. I wanted to show you one of the games that I played in the recently concluded Chess Kid National Invitational Online Championship. This game is played in round 4, and I was tied for second place after starting with 1 win and 2 draws. This game I'm playing against Danila Polyanikov, who's rated about 2150. So this tournament is a 6-player invitational round robin, with the winner getting the official title of U.S. Online National Champion for their age category. So this was a crucial game. I won, and that propelled me towards eventual first place in the 11 to 12 section. So I'm black. My opponent started with e4.
Who was your opponent?
Danilo Polyanikov. And I played the French defense. d4. d5, and he played the Tarrasch variation. d2. And here I played a sideline. This move, bishop e7. This move has been championed by players like Morozevich. It's kind of almost a waiting move, just seeing what plan white will take. He played knight f3. So this is a very common line, but I'm not sure about this move. Usually in the French defense and in this Tarrasch variation, white likes to put his knights in f2 and f3 and e2, just for some support here. Displacing knight d2 and knight f3 is a bit disharmonious, but it's still a good line. Usually bishop d3 is played here. So after knight f3, I played knight f6, e5, knight d7, bishop d3, and this is still old theory, c5, and c3. Now this is, sorry?
Knight c6?
Knight c6 is the most common line here. Black plays knight c6, and after castles, there are several moves here. Black can play a5. He can even play g5, which is quite risky, but you're just trying to win the pawn just by playing g4. But if you play these lines with knight g5, with knight c6 and g5, it's very theoretical and it's pretty risky. So instead I played a sideline. I played the move b6 here. What's the idea behind b6? Well, you can play bishop b7, but the main idea that you want to bring out the bishop to a6, exchange it for this bishop on d3. Because this bishop in the French is, and on many related openings, is very bad, because you have the pawn on d5, you have the pawn on e6. Black bishop practically has no moves. While this is white's great bishop, pretty much all his pawns are on the opposite color of this bishop. So if I manage to trade off my light squared bishop or his light squared bishop, it's a good trade. Now I think the best move here is the move queen e2, for the reason that for now you're preventing bishop a6, and here black has a couple of lines. He can play just simply a5 followed by bishop a6, or even some moves like bishop to b7 followed by queen c8, and then bishop a6. But my opponent just decided to castle. And I think if white just allows bishop a6 without making white, without making black go into some kind of contortions is not the best idea. So I played immediately bishop a6. He took. Knight took with a knight. Now this knight is on the rim. It's dim. But I'm going to move this knight somewhere later. It might go back to b8 and later go to c6. Maybe sometimes it will even go to c7. What's the main, what's one of the plans for white in the French? What move would you play as white?
Queen e2.
Queen e2 is fine, and just attacking the knight. In many lines, you want to play this move f4, followed by f5, just to undermine this pawn chain. So, one idea is knight e1, and next f4. This is still a theoretical position. There's a few games, and I played a novelty here. This was over the board. It wasn't preparation, but no. I just played queen c7. The most common move here is castles. Now, sometimes in this line, black doesn't want to commit his king so early. Because, like I said, white has this f4, f5 attacking plan that can be quite dangerous for black if his king goes into the king side. So in some lines of this variation, black's king even goes to the queen side here after a move like c4 and moving the queen out and castles. And sometimes black's king doesn't even castle at all. So queen c7, a3. Maybe my opponent wants to play b4, or maybe he wanted. He was afraid of pawn takes, followed by knight b4 or something. And now, of course, the worst piece in black's position is this knight. So I just needed to bring it somewhere closer to humanity. I played knight b8. For next move, I'll play knight c6. And f. So this is kind of the first critical moment where I started to think. Do I stop the f5 move? Or do I allow it?
How about stop it and castle queenside?
Yeah. If you allow a 5, it's just a bit too dangerous, so I just played g6, which is a bit of a weakening, but it's quite hard for white to carry out his normal kingside attack here. Because without the slide squared bishop, you can almost never play f5 without playing a move like g4. That is very weakening. So in the game, I think, let me see what I played, sorry. Yeah. If white plays g4 here, for instance, just trying to quickly play f5, I already can just start undermining his position with h5. And his king side is weak. It turns out that even though he wants to play f5, this king will be the weaker one. Maybe even the best move for white here is g5, after which, of course, he can't hope for any sort of attack. Instead, he played knight d to f3. I played knight c6, bishop e3, and now I played this move c4. White has a bit of a weakness on the light squares here, because without this crucial light squared bishop, which I traded off, I have all these squares for myself. And also one should note the difference between the two bishops. This bishop, how many pawns does white have that are in the same color of this bishop?
Too many.
7 out of 8. Well, just one pawn. For my pawns, only 2 of them are on the same color as this bishop. So this bishop is quite bad in this position. So I think black is pretty much already equal here. Here's the opening. And he played knight d2 back for some reason. Now I played b5. So I'm still not deciding where my king goes. Because the center is closed, not dangerous for black at all. Here. And he played knight e to f3 this time. a5. Now he played b3, a move which I'm not sure I like. Because kind of, if we divide the board in half, this is kind of white's territory for now. This is where he wants to play. The queen side is black's territory. So b3 just kind of plays into black's hands because it weakens these pawns. And after this, maybe even black already has a small advantage. So again, we need to decide how to change the pawn structure here. Does black take on b3? Does he play a move like a4? What about even b4? Or should he just kind of wait and not do anything? One has to decide. So let's start looking at all the moves one by one. a4 isn't very good because b4, this is just all locked up. Even let's say castles could get some sort of position like this, where nothing can be traded. So a4 is a clear mistake because after that it's pretty much just a drawn position. I can't play b4 because tactically it just doesn't work. Just don't have enough support. Because rook takes rook. And if I take here, taking here is actually fine. She takes b3 and after queen takes, I'll just defend this pawn somehow and I have a small advantage here. Instead, I decided just to wait for a bit and not make any decisions. I just played knight b6, bringing this knight a bit closer to the queen side. And at the right opportunity, my knight can even jump to c4 once we trade here, or even a4. So he played queen c2, which is kind of just waiting. Because now I can play c takes b3. And after queen takes b3, we have the same exact position we could have reached earlier, except my knight then was still in d7. So basically I got to play knight b6 and it's still my move. But I think the reason my opponent played queen c2 is that he didn't see a really great way for black to defend this pawn. If I played knight c4, for instance, he'll just take and close up the c file. Because one of black's advantages in this position is the fact that this pawn is a backward pawn. It's quite weak, so I think he was hoping for knight c4, through which knight takes, pawn takes. This weakness is less important here. So black has to find a different way of defending this pawn. So how should black play here? So just let's start with making a list of candidate moves. Just what are the possible moves? Knight a7 is one possible candidate, but knights in the rim are dim again, and I would prefer not to play knight a7 if I can avoid it. So unless there is really no other option, I don't want to play knight a7.
What about knight c4?
Knight c4 we just looked at. It's fine because after you're making a counterattack on this bishop. Like Nunn said, unprotected pieces drop off. So it's also possible, but then again, white can close the c file. So you need to defend this pawn tactically. So I like the idea of knight c4. But there's a tactical way of defending this pawn that allows white to take on b5, but it leads to loss of material.
What about, can you take bishop a3?
Then just rook takes.
Oh, yeah. So it must be one of the diamonds. Or a rook. How about rook at a to c8?
Rook c8, c8 or?
Yeah.
It doesn't really do anything about b5. But it is a rook move. Yeah, rook b8.
Oh.
After, let's say, queen takes pawn. Now what happens? Yeah, knight c4, and you're attacking this bishop. You're attacking this queen, and loose pieces drop off. So now white can't take this, and black developed the rook. But of course now black has to give up on his idea of castling queenside. It's just too open here. Besides, he can't legally do it with the rook on b8. So it's unclear where my king is going, but that's pretty much the only problem. And now my opponent realized that he just doesn't have anything on the queen side. So he decided to start some kingside play. And he played g4. And this looks terribly strong, because you're playing f5, you're just going after this king that doesn't have a safe place to hide. So I want to stop f5. So I played the move h7, h5, attacking this pawn, and he played h3, defending it. There's nothing really I can do to play f5. I just need to go on the queen side. So I think I played a4 here. queen c2, knight a5. And I'm kind of waiting for him to play f5, because as soon as he plays f5, his king will start being a bit weak. Because this is kind of funny idea. You're letting him push his pawns in front of his king, just so this king can become an endangered species. So he did play f5. How should black continue here? Again, it's another critical moment. Just how should we change the pawn structure?
G takes to open the file for the rook.
G takes is possible, but why don't we open even more files? First play H takes. His knight's under attack, so he needs to play H takes G4. And now pawn takes pawn. And pawn takes pawn. And though I did get this f5 in, there's two open files right in front of his king. But now I need to worry about my own king, because let's see if it's white to move. He immediately plays f takes e6, f takes e6, and there are already some ideas like queen g6 check. Maybe it's not that good, but just immediately start attacking with moves like knight g5, attacking e6.
King d7 then?
King d7? Yes. Very logical. King can't go king side, king can't go queen side, so it needs to go to the center.
The rook on h8 can go to c3 too, right?
h8 through h3?
To c3. I mean to c8.
Yeah, potentially, but right now I'm kind of interested on playing in the king side because of this open king now. So after king d7, already black has some advantage, some major advantage, just because of this open king here. And just if we don't look at this position with open eyes, but just think, oh, this king on d7 is very weak, but white can't get at it as easily as black can get at this king with just rook g8 next move, and so on. So he decided to run with his king too, king f2. And why did I play this move knight a5 10 moves ago? Yeah, knight c4, just jumping into this outpost square. So I did this now. Now the time control for this tournament was 90 minutes per side, and there was a 30-second increment. And actually my opponent had, he was beginning to start getting lower in time. He had, I think, maybe 15-20 minutes here. And he broke the first chess rule we learned, the rule about development. Have to always develop your pieces. And he was worried about this a3 pawn, because now we can use idea of bishop takes a3 and just take this pawn. So he decided to play knight b1 and just defend this pawn. And he played it quite quickly. But this pawn isn't that important. He shouldn't bring back his knight, because it's not just his knight that's being brought back. This rook is now also out of play. And I played knight takes e3, which is, I think, a mistake. Well, I'm not... I could be playing knight takes e3, but it's not this knight that's being traded for the bishop. It's really this knight for this bishop. Because after knight takes, king takes, knight c4. So it's a good move positionally, but apparently I just missed an immediate win. I could have played the move f6. It's completely undermining White's king's position. And I didn't even consider this move because it's just so risky. I thought it was just so risky with this pawn on e6. And after, let's say, pawn takes pawn check, king c6. Let's say knight d2. I just have all my pieces in play after pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn, and after rook f8. This is just a beautiful position. Just black has every single piece in play. But I missed this move. Instead, I just took an e3. King takes. I'm sorry, this knight is still in b1. King takes. Knight jumps into c4. Check. King moves back to f2. I'm sorry, this rook is still on b8. Now this is kind of a question of which rook comes to the king side. This rook to g8 or rook h to g8?
Rook h to g8.
That's what I played. The reason I didn't use this rook is that I thought maybe in some lines he can get at this pawn with checks. So I decided to keep this rook there for now, just to keep an eye on the pawn. So I played rook g8. And while black's better, he doesn't have anything decisive yet. I'm sorry, I keep making the wrong moves. He played king e2 instead of king f2. So rook g8, it doesn't really have the threat of rook g2, because white will play rook f2. But he played f6, which looks very natural, just closing the king side. But he missed a tactic. So black to play and win. So I sacrificed a piece here.
Pawn, right?
Bishop takes which pawn?
F pawn.
The f pawn? What's the follow up after bishop takes f6? E takes.
That queen comes in.
But if the queen comes in, then the knight takes.
Oh yeah. Oops.
Queen g3.
Queen g3 is too slow. I'm down a piece now. I need to play with attacking checks, captures, or threats.
Rook g2.
Rook g2 check. Now if the king moves, the rook will just win the queen. So he needs to block.
Queen g3.
Queen g3.
Now
Now the
the queen comes out.
queen comes in and this rook is attacked. How does he save the rook? Let's say rook takes g2, doesn't work. Because after queen takes g2, let's say king d1,
The knight again. Your knight.
then I fork with knight e3 check, attacking the queen and the king.
What happened if you played king d3?
If he plays king d3, sorry, I just play queen takes knight.
Oh, alright. Understand.
White is just laughing because the queen. Knight f3 and where were we? So he needs to find something other than rook takes g2. Where is the rook? I forget the position. Yeah. So it's white to move. How should he play? If king f1, then black has knight e3 check. With the idea of knight takes queen, just it's a fork. And let's say king e1. How should black play here? Best move, black.
What did you want there? Oh.
Sorry.
No, it wasn't boring. I was analyzing it tonight.
Rook G1.
Knight takes.
Knight takes, yes. So what's the best move for black?
Rotate, rook.
Rook takes, rook, queen takes.
Rook G8, add one more.
It's a bit too slow because right now he's threatening rook takes rook.
It's not.
Oh. Sorry. Let's just cut that out of the video. The fact that I missed that this rook is pinned. So rook G8 is possible, but there's something even more forcing. Best move is a mate in 5, which I didn't see. I could have just played rook H8. Rook H8, not G8, just for the threat of rook H1.
So, is that what you did, or is that?
That's not what I played. Instead, I played queen takes f3. It's a pretty move. When I was playing bishop takes f6, I calculated up to queen takes f3 and I saw I was winning. And I just didn't even check rook h8. And after this, after rook takes, white's queen side is paralyzed, black's up a pawn. Well, after rook takes a rook, what does black play? It's black to move, just black to move and win. So right now I'm down a rook.
Rook H8.
The funny thing is that even though I'm down a rook, I can actually, yes, play rook h8, and I still win, even though I'm down a rook. But the more accurate way is just to play knight e3, just fork here, queen e2. Now, knight takes d2 check, and king d2. Now, do we trade queens or do we keep queens?
Keep queens.
Keep queens, because white's king is still in danger. So there's no reason to trade queens. Queen f4. Now he made the final mistake. He played king d3. And now I just bring the only black piece that's not in the game yet.
Rook H8.
Rook g8. And he tried to play on with knight d2, with the idea that after rook g3, king c2. So what's the best way for black to win here?
Open up the king side.
Queen E4.
Queen
F5.
queen f5. Queen f5, and the king is just trapped. You need to block somehow, and after that, knight f4 just wins the house.
Lose the house.